Spider-Man, one of Marvel's greatest superheroes, and one of the many beloved characters never gets the proper treatment. And believe me, if you guys have been watching the Spider-Man from his first incarnation since the Sam Raimi movies back in the 2000s, you know what I mean. Now, granted, the first two films were actually pretty good. Were actually two of the best films ever made. Fans of their respective years. Both were well directed by Sam Raimi, and featured great performances from Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, as well as Kirsten Dunst and Willem Dafoe and James Franco. That being said, however, those two have a lot to live up to. The first one was easily a great slice of comic book action that everyone loved. The second film was, however, a lot better, not just because of a fantastic, brilliant performance by Alfred Molina, but also the film tried to go for a deeper emotional focus, try to focus on what Spider-Man would be like if everything piled on top of him and he could no longer contain it. And that was actually very well explored, and the film became extremely popular because of it. And then came Spider-Man 3. Now I'm gonna mince words with you guys. This was a huge misstep on Marvel's part when it came to making that film. Because honestly, there were some things that I did like the action scenes were well filmed and the visuals were nice. However, they tried to take the film in a more complex direction, and they tried to bring on 3 villains instead of having just one villain. And honestly, that really didn't do well. I mean, James Franco, Harry Osborn could have been taken in the right direction when it came to that film. However, they tried to add more depth to it by adding again the Sandman and Venom, and that was completely misconceived. And don't even get me started how atrocious the Amazing Spider-Man films were. Needless to say, ever since Spider-Man 2, the web singer has not gotten a proper treatment. And then came Captain America: Civil War. And with the casting announcement that Spider-Man had got a new incarnation featuring Tom Holland, an unknown British actor, Tom Holland. He basically got a start in that film as more of a supporting role, but in Spider-Man: Homecoming, it was revealed that this would be a solo film for him all on its own. Now, unlike Civil War, which was directed by the Russo brothers, this one was going to be directed by unknown director John Watts, and it featured a script co-written written by Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly, whose writing credits previously have been The Vacation reboot, yes, National Lampoon one, and Horrible Bosses on one end. However, I had no idea what to expect. Ever since Spider-Man 2, the Spider-Man films' appearances have been kind of inconsistent, minus the Civil War one. But people were very hopeful for this, especially considering that just like Captain America: The Winter Soldier being a political thriller disguised as a superhero film, this looked to be more of like a coming-of-age story disguised as a superhero film. And one roughly inspired by the John Hughes classics. So, how does Spider-Man swing, for lack of a better word? Well, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This is by far the best Spider-Man film since Spider-Man 2. And honestly, I didn't have much expectations that this could be fantastic. I mean, it surely wouldn't reach the heights of, say, The Avengers or Captain America: Civil War. But as far as Spider-Man movies go, this is obviously one of the very best Spider-Man films we've had. And it's one that definitely makes anyone forget that those amazing Spider-Man films exist. So let's start with the direction from John Watts. Now, John Watts has been kind of an unknown director, mostly known for doing like documentary shorts and other shorts in general. This is kind of like his first full-length feature film, officially. And honestly, he does a really great job with this film. You can definitely tell he has a firm handle and understanding of what the Spider-Man films actually were, and you can definitely tell he's putting all that knowledge to use here. The aerial shots are well executed, the action scenes are well shot and not so cheesy. And although they can lack some subtle intensity that you might get from, say, the Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi films, he also makes them work for what they are, and that's really commendable. But guys, let's get to the biggest positive of this film: the performances. And basically, we have the two standouts are obviously Tom Holland as Spider-Man, aka Peter Parker, and I can't tell you how relieved I feel about this character. Because not only does he actually look like an actual high school, even more so than Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield ever did, but he actually has he also gets everything about Spider-Man down pat: the wit, the awkwardness, the charm, the humor, the quips. He's got all of it pat down. It never feels like he feels awkward or out of place. And when you know it's Peter Parker, that can actually feel really good. I didn't really care much for his friend Ned. He was good as a comic relief sidekick, but there were times I saw myself yelling, "Dude, shut!" or saying, "Dude, shut up." Okay, you're being too annoying. But then again, what would you expect from a comic relief? However, the biggest performance of this film, even more Tom Holland, is Michael Keaton as Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture. My gosh. This is Michael Keaton's best performance ever since the 1989's Batman. And yes, I went there. Deal with it. Because seriously, this guy is practically one of the best villains since Loki or even Baron Zemo from Captain America Civil War, because not only do they actually take time to make him a compelling villain, we can actually get behind why he does what he does and how exactly and make it conceivable. And they'll make it unconventional for him and Spider-Man to cross paths, while still making it feel like that would actually happen. And Michael Keaton has it all. He's got the menace, he's got the charisma, he's got the charm. He's basically a guy just about anything a good villain could have. He may not reach the heights that Tom Hiddleston has reached, but he pulls off in spectacular fashion, and I can't be happier than that. But time to get my nitpicks out of the way, and it has to do with some of the casting. Well, I definitely did like Zendaya as Michelle. I thought she was good as more of that outsider. Even though at one points she looks like a dead ringer for Alessia Cara. I have to point out that Ned, his best friend, he didn't really work for me. He's basically kind of like the loud nerdy kid who basically might go like, "Oh my gosh, it's Spider-Man! Why are you telling anyone? He gotta tell everyone! Come on!" And I was like, "Okay, dude, I know that's how you react if you saw Spider-Man, but yeah, you gotta tone it back a little bit. You can be comedic without being loud, you know. More on that in a bit." And honestly, that leaves us to the casting. Laura Harrier as Liz, and Tony Rivoli as Flash Thompson. Now here's the thing. I've actually studied up on these characters quite significantly, because if you don't know the original comics, Liz Allen is actually Tony Pierce's crush before he meets Mary Jane Watson, and Flash Thompson, who in this film was portrayed as Pakistani, but just like Liz in the comics, who's blonde and beautiful, he's basically a blonde, burly football player who does become a bit of a fan of Spider-Man before becoming a bully to Peter. However, yeah, he didn't work. Whereas in the comics, Flash was more of an actual bully, and actually it was more intimidating towards Peter. In the film, he basically comes up way too smug, sarcastic, and way too over with his teasing. And I honestly didn't think that worked too well. And Laura Harrier as Liz Allen, I don't really think much of her. I never really liked her much as a character when it came to the comic books, but she wasn't really all that great in the film. I can definitely say that. I did like one part towards the end where they subvert the whole romance thing, and yeah, not gonna spoil it there. And another thing about this film that I was concerned about is that, well, you can definitely see how John Hughes inspired it is, especially when they give nods to various scenes from his movies in those films. John Watts has a good enough hand, and he directs them so well and they're written so well that they never feel like they're actually a crutch for the film, or the fact they're ripping them straight out. As a matter of fact, there's actually one part that's so great that I won't get into, and it had me smiling. I'm not gonna say that. And this film was actually extremely funny, and it didn't just feel awkward. And there was a bit of product placement like there was in Amazing Spider-Man, but yeah, it wasn't as over as the previous film. But yeah. So all in all, guys, yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming is definitely the best film since Spider-Man 2. The humor is strong, the writing is strong, the direction is strong. Tom Holland and Michael Keaton knock it out of the park with their characters. And I do have to say that some of the casting kind of got off to me. I think that we could have better actors for Flash Thompson. Zendaya does a good job as Michelle, and the action scenes are extremely well done. And it's not going to reach the heights of Spider-Man 2, because that's a really high bar. But But, man, what a way to go, guys. So for me, 8 out of 10. And I highly recommend you all go see it. So, well, Spider-Man may be back, guys, but we're going to have to wait a while before we see him in Infinity War. As long as he keeps swinging across skyscrapers, that's all anyone will ever need to know. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you guys like what you saw, comment down below, leave a like and from the channel. Be sure to check me out on Facebook and on Twitter. Until then, I'm Ross Butler. This is M&M Weekly. See you next time.